and I am back with another knife from the Khukri house. Now this one is a little bit more my style, if you will, than the last one with the crazy 20-inch long espada, basically. This is what they call the Comando knife. Now, back in the 80s, if you were an 80s action junkie fan, you've heard of the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Kind of his take on, the rival of Rambo movies. So they created a knife for that movie also, and it was something along this line. However, it had a hollow handle, and, it was very, it was different than the Rambo knives, but same genre. So fast forward to today with fingerprints all over it because I touched it for a second. Jeez Louise. You have this from the Khukri house designed by D-Bad. Donnie B all day. YouTube knife reviewer, knife designer, has several designs out there, mostly by the Khukri house, I think. And they are big, large and in charge, overbuilt, hefty knives. Although out of the three that New Zealand Nick sent me, this one, the one I filmed already, and then one I still need to film, this is probably my favorite of the bunch. But again, I am exercising great willpower and not letting my 12-year-old self come out with my adult paycheck and spend $110 on this. I know, it's only $110. Plus $55 for the sheath. Kydex sheath, a little bit rudimentary with just the nuts and bolts. But you need a sheath, whether you're going to carry this or not, because let's be honest here. We're not going to carry this around. Certainly not down in New Zealand, where you can't even carry a normal size pocket knife, let alone something crazy like this. But you really do need a sheath, just because you can't just, what are you going to do? Just chuck this in the drawer, chuck it in a case all by itself in the garage? Like, you need a case of some sort, a sheath of some sort, right? So what do we have here? We have 15 and 9/16 overall, 5160 blade steel, full tang construction, micarta handles with a rock chipping pattern in it, which is something new from the Khukri house. You have sawtooth back that you're not going to really use for a sawtooth. Nice clip point. It's not really sharp, okay? And they do that on purpose. These are meant more for chopping and slashing type of duties in the woods, clearing brush, things like that, where it's not meant to be a paper slicer. You're not going to slice your tomatoes with this thing. Like, come on. It's a purpose-built, useful tool to get stuff done with a really nice pommel there that could also get some work done, if you know what I mean. So they make it just reasonably sharp. It's not going to cut paper, but you're going to be able to hack limbs off of trees and do that relatively easy. You can pay a little extra and they will sharpen it sharper for you. However, the more you sharpen it, the more brittle the edge is going to get because they're going to remove material and then they're not going to warranty it for what it's really meant to do. Now, you'll see here on the blade, this is not it is a polished blade, but it is still sort of rough. Now, it doesn't show up all that great with the lighting here, but you can see it here. These are just marks that have come from the sheath. Maybe there was some dirt and stuff in the sheath. I don't know, but this is how you get them. And this is the second knife I'm filming, and the first one was very similar. You also have a little bit of sort of crudeness with the pins and the way they are finished. But I don't know how else you would really do that with that rock pattern. Full tang construction, although it does neck down as it goes down the scales, which I think is a little bit odd. Why not just keep it the same thickness all the way through? But I am not a knife designer, nor am I an engineer, so I am not going to second guess or question the maker of this really cool novelty type piece, okay? Speaking of Commando knives and Rambo knives, something I need to do, and I may start this journey in 2025, I would really like to start a movie knife collection, sub-collection in my collection. Rambo, I remember watching First Blood, the very first one, when it came out, over and over and over and over. Every time I went to the video rental store, that's the movie I got. That sort of a thing. I would really like to get the Rambo knives. But for me, I don't want the $100 versions. I want the real Lyle and Gibbon knives for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 ones times every movie, right? Yeah, I have a problem, okay? It is what it is. So, what else can I tell you about this thing? Oh, it weighs in at 1 pound, 5.3 ounces for just the knife. With the sheath, it's 1 pound, 12.3 ounces. $110 if I didn't mention that already. $55 for the sheath. Extra $5 for the rock pattern on the scales because they got to grind that in. And no two will ever be the same because they just do it freehand with a grinder. I don't know if they're using a grinding wheel for that. It still doesn't matter. You're going to get discrepancies and it'll always be different. Okay? Let's give you a couple of size comparisons here. I'm not sure what else I can say about it. Here's the Sharpie, the Spyderco Delica. And just because these just came back to me from spot treatment, how about the VC Edge interface that weighs in at 1.5, 1.6 ounces? Just as a size comparison. I think these are cool. I think the Khukri house has some really cool things. I think that D-Bad, Donnie B all day, does some cool stuff. He's a big ADV fan because I've seen a lot of the videos he does are on ADV knives. And he's pretty tight with ADV. ADV is sending him a lot of prototypes and things like that from what I saw. So, if you're not following him, I'm going to put a link to both the Khukri house down below, as well as Donnie B All Day's YouTube channel. So you can go check him out. He has no idea who I am, so I won't even tell you to go check him out and tell him I sent you, because he'll be like, Dirk who? Which is totally fine. There you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts on these movie knives, on these great big overbuilt knives. What are your thoughts? There is one more coming that you'll see in a day or two. Maybe you'll see it tomorrow. I don't know. I had to move my whole studio around a little bit to get the camera up enough to get this all in view. So I think I'll just film the other one now too, just so I don't have to rearrange everything multiple times. And I need to get these sent back. I need to get them boxed up and shipped to New Zealand because I've had a bunch of Nick's knives for months. And I feel bad. He's totally cool about it, but I got to get them shipped down to him, man. I'm just, now I'm a little nervous because we're getting into the holiday season. So I kind of need to get them shipped now, or I got to wait until after the new year. And I don't want to wait that long. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. I would greatly appreciate it.